Welcome back to Mr. Curfew. Updog Richie fella. This guy is a dying breed. Locker room guy. Plays it the right way. Still going, which is unbelievable. We're going to touch on his 1000th game.
Loves to muck it up.
Loves to muck it up. Trevor Lewis, Lou Dog, thanks, buddy. We appreciate you taking the time. We're excited to have you on, bud.
Yeah, fellas, thanks for having me on. Excited. Get to listen to you guys a little bit, so excited to be on.
Yeah,
Lou. We always try to pump you up on this show, Lou. We know you love you, and it's just taking that entry there. You're known as the ultimate pro, the ultimate family man, the ultimate teammate, and the ultimate friend too. So thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate it.
First things first, how was the break? And I guess secondly, how the hips and groins feel? And I saw the Canucks the other day were just getting rinsed, Lou, and I was like, oh boy, I do not miss that.
Yeah. The break was good. We went back to home to Utah for a week or so just to see some family and kind of unwind there. And the kids love going back to the snow, so we went there for a week, and then came back and had a couple practices. Yesterday was an absolute rinsing out there. The hips are feeling it today, so we got a good little workout in today and recover and get a practice in and get after it again on Saturday.
So I guess the breaks are a little bit different than they were back in the day with the two cup teams and Richardson and Stoley and the Greener and the boys. A little different pace now, Louis, for the breaks?
Yeah, a little different pace. I think hanging out with those guys was it took you the full 4 practices just to get ready to play again. So this one was nice. Yeah, it's kind of relaxing. Got to see some buddies. But we were in bed a little bit earlier than back in the day.
You actually went to bed.
You guys are really throwing me on a buster.
You're an easy target, Richie. Easy target.
We did have a couple of big trips to Vegas and all that. It honestly took us a week to get recovered. I remember one practice, Louis, I don't know if you remember this, in Minnesota. I think we got back from break, and I couldn't literally see for 2 games. As we get older, it toned it down, so good for you.
Yeah, I was squirting my face with the water bottle that whole game in Minnesota there. I was like, oh, boy.
I always needed an all-star break from my all-star break. I was like, hey, can I get 3 or 4 more days here, boys, just to kind of go the 4 seasons?
The day off. Need that.
Hey, Lou, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was your first time ever to Vegas. It was me, you, Lou, Richie, Dowdy, Simmer, and you just knocked on the door. I think you were supposed to say 1 more day. You just knocked on the door. You said, boys, I'm out of here, fellas. Thanks for having me. I'm like, I got to go.
We really pushed the pace on that trip, too. So, I think woke up that morning. I was like, that's enough. I got to get out of here, boys.
Louis, for you, what's changed from a 2010 Olympic break to, a 2024 Four Nations Cup break as far as where we're going, how many kids we're bringing with me, stuff like that. Well, what's changed? Because I know my life would change. Well, it has changed big time, but for a guy that's still going, how are those breaks changing now for you?
You know what? Yeah, we got 3 kids now. So 3. They were actually on ski week. So yeah, they were on ski week. So it kind of worked out a little bit, and we kind of gave them a few options what they want to do, and they want to go back to Utah. And I mean, it's pretty easy for us. So we got to see some family, and it was actually nice. The rest and regroup and get ready for the playoff grind is it was nice on the body. I mean, the practice coming back are tough, but it's a little bit different of a break than say 10 years ago or so.
Not as many IVs, Lou? You don't need as many IVs when you get back now.
No IVs, no. Just, mixing a few waters on this break, so it was good.
Hey, how great is Park City, though, man? It's one of my – I've only been up there a couple times, but it's an easy flight here from Orange County, right into Salt Lake, easy drive from Salt Lake to Park City, and that place is booming, right? They have the real estate and everything. It's just a great place to go.
It's awesome, man. We get a chance to go up there quite a bit, even in the summertime. And the golf course is there. The little town, they got some great bars, restaurants. So it's kind of a great hidden gem a little bit, and we like to spend as much time as we can up there.
Yeah, Louis, just speaking of kind of Utah, obviously they got the hockey club there now, but you're the only, I mean, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong here, you're the only active player in the NHL from Utah. And I remember I played with, I think one of the other ones, Connor Walchuk, back in the day. But is that true? You're the only active player from Utah right now?
I think active, yeah. Connor Walchuk was a big one, and then Daniel Brickley played a game or two. And then it's crazy how much it's grown there now though. Even before the team came in, just going back there is actually guys for me to skate with, guys are going to college and getting scholarships and stuff like that. And so it's grown, and I think with the team there, the city's buzzing, and hockey's only going to grow there, I think.
Yeah, Lou, I want to tag that. Just Ryan Smith, me and Updog got to know Smitty a little bit. Yeah, Updog's got fucking Utah Hockey Club up here. But I don't leave him home without her. But he's just fun. I didn't know you were supporting the squad. You didn't pay for that, did you? Get that to you?
Actually did, eh? That's a little right off there, bud.
But he talks about growing the game of hockey in the state of Utah. And like I said, me and Updog got to know him a little bit. I believe whatever this guy says. And for a kid like Richie just said, you're the only national leaguer, how important is having a team and a guy like Ryan Smith to grow the game so there's more Trevor Lewises out there snapping it around?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, he's done so much for Utah and for hockey in general in Utah. So, they're building more rinks, and there's a lot more ice for kids to go out and play. And I think just for kids to be able to get to go to some NHL games and see the atmosphere and see the guys play live. I think it's huge for the state of hockey or the state of Utah hockey, and hopefully we see some more kids coming up.
Louis, growing up was out west, like the Gretzky, LA King era, something you looked up to as a kid in Utah? Like, what teams were you guys, resonating with when you guys were all minor hockey kids, in the city of Utah?
I think most kids, Colorado had just came in, and most kids kind of jumped on that bandwagon early. My dad was a Red Wings fan, so I was always a Red Wings fan growing up, and obviously those Colorado-Detroit rivalries were awesome. So I would always have buddies over, and we'd be going at it, Colorado versus Detroit, and that's kind of who I watched growing up. Steve Yzerman was my favorite player, so I kind of followed them.
I was going to guess like a Kirk Maltby or something.
Draper.
See, Draper. Little checking line.
Yeah.
What was that line called? They were called the checking line, right, Rich? The grind line. They were called the grind line.
Yeah,
they were called the grind line.
Grind line.
And they could grind.
A couple welding.
Still the dirtiest hit in hockey history is Claude Lemieux drilling Draper from behind.
Draper.
I like Claude Lemieux, but anytime I still see him, I just kind of look at him like, you prick, eh? Like that was prickish. Like, just drove his head right in the dasher. It's like, oh boy. So Lou, you must have loved your first time going to the Joe then, right? Because that's a rink that me and the Updog love playing in. Richie, they don't make the Joe Louis Arena anymore. We went to Little Caesars last year. Good barn, nice barn, but it doesn't smell like beer and hot dogs and Miller Lights like the old Joe did.
Actually, my second game was at Joe Louis, and I scored my first goal there. So, that was pretty cool. And just growing up, always watching them and getting to score a goal in Joe Louis was pretty cool.
You got yours on Hasek too, right? Was he?
Yeah, at the Honda Center though. Not that's right. He has a power play goal too, eh? Power play goal.
Who was that tendy for you, Louis?
Ty Conklin.
Conky.
I got one on him too.
I think the Kings, we didn't score too many goals back in the day, so they were always getting the backup.
You didn't have to. You guys didn't give up fucking in. You didn't have to score it.
Lou, did we not lose that game like 8-1 or something?
Yeah, I think 1-0 right away. It's like my second shift. We got up 1-0, and then it was like 8-1.
Louis like easy league, boys, easy league. Here, 1-0 goal. Put another one up there. Well, that answers my question because I was going to say, how much money did you have on the board? Did you put up a quiet 500 or 1,000 for your second game? How much do you remember? How much you put up? It was a while ago, I know, but
probably 500.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
That was the safe, just rookie vibe.
I didn't get away with that.
No,
fucking Frosty stung me with.
Well, you were one of those guys that got $1 million signing bonus, so people were like, "Up, dog, come on, buck up, fella."
I think we lost late. Turnover by me, probably. Someone just score, please, here.
Hey, Louis, I wanted to ask you, taking a trip back down memory lane a little bit here. Richardson, me and him trained together, and I played against Owen Sound, but he'd come back every summer and tell me how great Owen Sound was. What a spot. And I'm like, buddy, come on, settle down. You're lying to me. And I've got to know Mike Fuda a little bit. I do a show with him every now and then in Toronto. He loves Richie. He loves you. But what's so special about Owen Sound? Because guys that have played there, like Richie fella, have loved it, and they've turned out some really good National League players.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I obviously didn't know much about anything, the Canadian Hockey League, anything like that, being from Utah. So I kind of just went in and didn't know really what to expect, and it was awesome. It's such a small community, and everyone comes to the games, and we had a great team, and I got to play with like Bobby Ryan, Wayne Simmons. So we had a great team, and it was a lot of fun going to the rink every day, and go to the Boot and Blade after and eat some breakfast and muck it up with the boys. So it was a lot of fun.
Is that the local?
Earl, she asked you this. How did Fuchs find you, and how did that connection happen? Like getting to Owen Sound from there. Like I don't get that story.
So when I got drafted by LA, they kind of asked if I'd go play Major Junior, and I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want me to do. And no one had my rights because I think being from Utah, you have to go to the WHL. But no one had my rights, and Fuchs called me up right away and asked if I wanted to come up and check it out. So I signed a tryout agreement and went up, loved it, and stuck there ever since.
The old Des Moines Buccaneers, eh? That's where Fuchs found you. He came in like, say, who's this Lewis kid for Des Moines Buccaneers? Like his game, like his compete.
Yeah, that was a great spot too. The old madhouse on Hickman, Des Moines. It was the barn was falling apart, but it was so much fun to play in. So that was a good spot.
Well, what did you think? Because the Ontario League back then, like, there was a lot of meatheads. It was a tougher kind of rugged. When you got there, you had a great year. You had 29 goals. I mean, did it help you turn into the kind of player you are playing in the OHL against those physical guys and having to go into Windsor and London and all these places and fucking get your nose dirty?
Yeah, I think so. I think Mike Sellers was my coach too, and he kind of wanted me to play more of a two-way game and be good on both sides of the puck, and I just kind of took that role, and I think it definitely helped me first turning pro, not just to try to score goals and get points and all that, but to be good on both sides of the puck. And I think Stutz really helped me out with that.
Was that when is that the era of like the London Knights starting their realm, or was that Kitchener Rangers like Mike Richards? And
I was more years before that, my age group.
Yeah. London was stacked.
Was that like Corey Perry and
Gagne? Yeah. So
that was the next. That was the next.
They beat us Scotiabank, I think, but they were pretty stacked. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were paying guys before we were allowed to pay guys. Now they're allowed to pay guys. But
good for them. But yeah, good for them.
And you know what they used to do? They used to get like the high prospects in Ontario to tell everyone they're going to go to college. No, I'm going to Boston College, and then take them in like the end of the first round or whatever, and they come in and play for them. I was like, smart.
No one would call their bluff. Yeah, I can just draft them.
Right? I'm like, fuck, come on, boys. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Smart.
Can't fool me again. Hey, Lou, I want to let's go back to your Cubs teams. First thing I want to know is when you met Brad Richardson, how did you first meet him? What was your first impression of him, or just when you started to make that team and play with those guys? Take me back to them.
Yeah, I think first training camp. I got to see Richie buzzing around out there, and I remember. I don't know why I remember this, but we were playing a scrimmage and he snapped one like top of the circles right over the goalie's butt. I was like, holy shit, who's this guy? He absolutely snapped one. And then, I just kind of, hung around him a little bit. And then I think, did you come to Manch on a conditioning stint?
Yeah, I slipped my ankle really bad and I missed like 30, 40 games. And I came down, for like 3 games or something.
Yeah, we were on the back of the bus playing cards, and you kind of got to know each other a little bit there. And had a few beers and, hit it off right away. So, we were, it was fun to get to know him. And, obviously we're still good friends to this day.
Yeah, Lou. Well, it's been a hell of a run. We got to play together in LA, obviously for a good time, win a cup together, and then get to do it again in Calgary. Kind of as we got older, was pretty funny. And then I don't know if you guys know, we live like 2 blocks from each other. And so we could Louis picked me up for the the plane or practice or vice versa, and then I also had this little hot tub on my roof.
Oh yeah.
So Lou, it was a really sick roof deck, and Lou would come over and sometimes Saturday night, and we get into some trouble on the roof deck. Had a lot of fun together.
Stumbled down the hill at 4 in the morning, so
Care of home.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that roof deck. I think I might have had a couple on that roof deck back in the day. Well, Rich, you didn't have that during 6-man though. No, because you were staying with Stoli.
Talking about in Calgary.
Oh, in Calgary, my bad. I thought you were talking about Manhattan
Close
Beach.
together in Hermosa too, but talking about Calgary, yeah. So
Louis, I want to ask you about those Kings teams, man. Like, I got to hang around with you guys because of Richie. You know, when Stoli was and Richie were living together at Stoli's sick pad with that hot tub in the back. The pool's always nice. Just jump in. But the one thing I was jealous about you guys was how good of a hockey club you were, but how tight you guys were off the ice. And, you know, I played on some good teams, but we were never as tight as you guys were. Like, was that because you all lived in Manhattan Beach and everything was so close, or was that because of Jared Stoll, or like why were you guys so close?
I think living close definitely helps, but I think you know, once Breener and Stoli came in, I think you know, they just kind of brought everyone together and made sure everyone was included in everything, and you know, they always were setting things up for everyone to come to, and just everyone being so close and living so close, we just kind of always hung out, and you know, we became very tight, and we're still tight to this day. I mean, we just had a 10-year cup reunion, and it's just, as soon as you see the boys, you know, it's like it never left off. So that was awesome, and yeah, it was a really tight team, and it was so much fun to be a part of.
I'll tell you what, there's got to be a million good reasons why you to win the Stanley Cup, but just when you always get the band back together every 10 years, that's and the wife can't tell you can't go. Like, it's the fucking Stanley Cup reunion, babe. I'm going. All right, I don't care if we're going. The boys,
we're just looking for a reason. Yeah. And 10 years to top one off would be the. I got a quick question, Louis. When you look back, you know, you've had a great career so far, but when you look back, you know, you're sitting in a room now in LA. Guys are younger. Some guys were there with you during the championship runs. Is there ever moments where you kind of like go like, you know, what was so good about us back then? Like, what was our strengths, and what can, like, you know, what can I bring from those moments I had before into this room to get back there? Like, when you look back at all those teams, was it the, you know, going on the road with the guys? Was it being on the plane and how tight you were? Was it, you know, fighting for each other? Or was it moments scoring big goals? Like, I would just think if I was a champ and I look back on those years playing when I won those cups, I'd always be like, fuck, we got to get back to that. Like, when you look back, what were those moments like for that group of guys that really like put you guys to the top?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it starts with how tight we were as a team. You know, always playing for each other, and, you know, everyone cared about each other so much, and I think that's kind of where it all started. And then you know, I think the leadership, I think there was, I mean, you could go off 12 leaders on that team. You know, everyone had a voice, and you know, when something needed to be said, there was usually a different guy stepping up and saying something. And you know, and even on the ice, I mean, it didn't matter who was scoring, everyone was happy for each other, and we were just a good team, and we played for each other, and I think that's kind of where it all started. And then obviously with Daryl coming in, putting a structure in place that you know, really helped us succeed.
Yeah, let me just jump in. Richie wants to talk to you about Daryl. We want to hear about Daryl too, but just about how close your team was. Yeah. I remember the lockout year, the old Halloween party at the Playboy Mansion. I had to make like 10 phone calls to get me and Loops in. Literally, I had to call Steve Kotlowitz, who was old Hollywood agent, and I'm like, fuck it, hey, Loops, we're in, buddy. Let's go. We're going with Cons. It's going to be sick. I show up there. Stoley's got 12 LA Kings in the fucking Playboy Mansion. I go, Stoley, you can get 12 guys in the Playboy Mansion? He's like, Hugh. I'm like, Hugh Hefner, bud. Hugh Hefner's the only guy that can get 12 guys in, but that's the mentality that you guys had, right? Like, I got to be honest, I'm a little selfish when it comes to Playboy Mansion. I'd be like, all right, 4 of us can go. Stoley's like, I got 12 guys in.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always doing that stuff. I mean, you know, after a Saturday night game, you'd have a bus waiting down the tunnel at Staples Center, ready to go to Hollywood. So, but yeah, that lockout was, that was another moment for me when I had to get out of here, because we were, it seemed like we were doing something every weekend, you know. I was making $700,000 at the time. I was going to go broke if I kept skating there. We were still, yeah, us going to a World Series, Playboy Mansion, you know, we were doing something every week. So, I think I was riding in the car with carts on the way to a skate, and say, "What'd you do last night?" And I was like, "Carts, you know, I gotta get out of here.
I gotta go home, man. I'm going back to Utah. I gotta get. My MX is out of control. I gotta get out of here."
Well, listen, boys, there's a few things to dissect there, and you guys obviously have, because you won it. But like you guys got to win in LA. You didn't win in, like a city. And mind you, they're all great cities, let's be honest. But like LA, you got to bring the cup down the sand. Like you're not doing that in fucking Columbus or.
I remember when they won, me, you, and Luce we're down in Newport Beach, and we're like, these fucking beauties are parading this bad boy through Hollywood right now. Through Hollywood, I'm like, these fuckers, what a time. Like just right through Hollywood. Like, there's great cities, but to party with the cup in Hollywood is a different level.
It's a different level. Yeah. I mean, the great one didn't get to do that there, right? Like,
No, he tried his hardest, but didn't get it done. No, I was extremely jealous of you boys when I was just like, you imagine how much we were always like, imagine how much fun they're having up there.
Yeah, and it was an era, boys, that like, other teams, when we come play you guys, we knew how tight you guys were. We knew how much fun you guys were having. And just, Quickie kick in and Doughty fucking doing his thing and, Kopitar playing the way he always has and still is. But we admired it, right? We're like, fuck, these guys are tight.
Yeah, and you couldn't give up more than 2 goals against them because you knew you weren't going to win, right? You're like, if we give up more than 2, we're done here, boys, because they were just stingy. Fuck, were they stingy? Oh,
and then just one more thing about the run where you guys went sweep. Like, what the fuck, dude? What were you guys on there? Because I know in between series you guys were going out too, but like 3 rounds in a row, like sweeps. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember those were some of the buses to Hollywood up here. Worse there. Yeah, we had like a week and a half off in between series. So, we were having fun in between series, and yeah, I think we kind of got hot at the right time, right before playoffs. I mean, we were clawing our way to get in, and we were playing playoff hockey since February. So, we were just ready to go, and yeah, we were on a hell of a run there.
That's a huge
Sicily Hill on and off the ice. We're off the ice. Let's talk about. We just kind of touched on him briefly there, but let's talk about Darryl. We both had him twice. You've had him for a lot longer than I have, but I kind of got Darryl at our cup reunion to kind of. I'm like, Darryl, I know Trevor's your favorite player of all time. Will you just admit it? He's like, Richie, he is. He just did that. Darryl smile, or I smile and nod, but he loved you. And I know why. You play the right way every night. You're the ultimate pro, like we've talked about. But, just talk about Darryl and maybe give us a story or two. I remember when he first walked in that first game in LA, if you remember when he came in spitting on the rug. So just maybe talk about Darryl for a minute and what he means to you.
Yeah, I mean, when he first came in, I was kind of, I think me and you actually were in and out of the lineup a little bit. And, Darryl came in and he told me he didn't know much about me or anything. So, I think Dustin Brown kind of went in and was going over guys, and, Brownie had my back, and, Darryl kind of gave me a role and, kind of take it or leave it kind of thing. And, I just tried to grab onto that role and be as best as I could be. And, he gave me a lot of opportunity, and, yeah, he's one of my favorite people, I think, to this day. Still text him, and he actually came down twice for my my Thalwood game. Both of them got canceled. He didn't come the third time. So, no, it was great. It was great that he was able to come down for 2 of those times. And after the first one, I got hurt, and we went out to Hercules in Manhattan Beach here, and it was about 4 or 5 of us with Darryl, and just sitting around having a few pints, and he started getting going on the stories, and it was one of the greatest nights we've had. So he means so much to me, and he kind of gave me this role, and I've just tried to take it and run with it.
You certainly have, buddy.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, eh? He knew what he saw in you. He's like, this guy's going to play a long time. But the thing I loved about Darryl was his post-game interviews. I mean, when you're...
Or between the period, like right during the shifts, he'd come on.
When you guys are seeing these and after games, and you're like, are you boys talking about it in the room after, or embracing it? Because his post-game interviews were the best thing in the world. I couldn't wait to see what he had to say after a win or a loss. It was just legendary stuff coming out of his mouth, Louis.
Yeah, those are one of a kind. I think every night after you go home after a game, you turn on the highlights, and you just wait for his interview after the game, because some of them are hilarious. So, but yeah, he was like that in the room sometimes. He always kept you on your toes. So, you could, win 10 games in a row and, he's all over you. And then you lose 6 in a row and he's like the nicest guy in the world. So he keeps you on your toes. He keeps you guessing. And, it's obviously, the second time I had him, I kind of knew, more of what to expect. So, I was trying to help the guys out. Like, hey, shoot, boys, get ready. Today we're in for once.
Yeah, you knew. You could sense it, eh? You could sense it.
I kind of sense it. And he always had, the whiteboards in the room were just full of writing. And a lot of them were just like initials and, like stuff you try to figure out. And I think me and Luch, every morning we just go in and look at the whiteboard and try to figure out what was coming. So it was a lot of fun though.
I loved what he said, and when he's talking about Colorado, he's like, "You don't want to play Colorado. That's a waste of 8 days there. You don't want to play those boys. That's a waste of 8 days. I don't want to waste my 8 days." I'm like, this guy's so just pure.
Matthew Lombardi had a great story of him coming on the bus in Calgary after like a bad come from behind loss or whatever, and he's walking to the back where all the old guys are sitting, and he's just smoking his head on the top part of the compartment where you put your bag, and he's coming back, and everyone's just waiting for him to just fucking start screaming, and he's just going whack, whack. Yeah, the boys are like, uh-oh, here we go. Let me just, I want to tie in because I turned into, the fourth line grinder midway through my career, started out as what I thought was a goal scorer, but it changed. But Louis, back to the conversation you had early with Daryl, like, did you ever realize, now 15 years in, 1,000 games in, that your role would be as of importance to a winning hockey team and to the culture of a team? Like, did you ever imagine you played 1,000 games when you were in that role early? Because sometimes you're like, fuck, am I playing tonight? Am I not? Like, we got young guys coming in, but I know that mentality. But did you ever think of like, wow, fucking 1,000 games in, I got 3 little kids now. Like, to know that early, I mean, what a gift Daryl gave you, because it's a role that you do it well, man, that you're wanted on every team.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the first few years, playing the role, you're right. You don't know. Sometimes you're in and out of the lineup and you kind of got to grind it out. And, my dad's always kind of told me just control what you can control. And that's how hard you work and, the detail you put in and the effort you give. So I've just tried to kind of stick to that motto. And, luckily it's worked out so good so far.
Yeah. Well, I always say, because Hitch told me later, but Hitch would always say, like, your line right here, you Brodziak, Revo, like, I don't ever want to talk to you guys. Like, you guys just play the way you fucking play. Don't fuck up. You got your role. You guys do it well. I'll have to fucking talk to all these guys that aren't back checking or playing, east-west. And it's just,
He wants to be a low maintenance plus line. Eh? He's a little low maintenance.
he's like, I got enough headaches with these fucking guys.
I don't care if you go up till 4 in the morning and bang a chick. Just don't fucking turn the puck over, all right? Just don't turn the puck over, bud.
But Louis, when you're on the ice, man, I could tell you exactly what you're going to do, which is great. You're doing all the right things. And teams need that, because all the other guys, as the offensive guys are, they're going to try to make the plays and do that. But you need to have foundation of the guys that fucking know the minutes you're going to give them.
Yeah, he's a coach's dream. He's the opposite of me, Lou. You're the opposite of me. You're the coach's dream.
Why'd you put on your backhand and try the cross ice sauce?
Because that's all they gave me. That's all they fucking gave me. Well, it's money. It's hot. That's all I had. It looks good. Didn't get the feet moving, but Lou, we're running out of time here. But a couple more things I want to touch on you. And Uppy just mentioned it. You went on a PTO to Winnipeg, and I remember talking with Richie through the point. He's like, "Fucking Louis can't get a deal," and we were both just like, "What is going on with the NHL?" And you went up to the Great White North, to Winnipeg, and then to Cowtown, and rejuvenated your career, man. So as your buddy, I just want to say fucking good on you, man, because that's not easy to do. And then when you were in Calgary, my favorite line, Lewis, Richardson, Lucic, I called you boy the pension line. I would get home, get a nice glass of red, turn on the Sportsnet Flames, and I'm like, just give me the pension line. And then for whatever reason, Daryl wasn't a huge fan of it. But how fun was it to play with Richie and Luch there on that pension line for a little bit?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I knew Luch and Richie both before Calgary. So, just to be together with those guys again was awesome. And then, when we got on the line, first things first with Richie, we were getting in on that faceoff. We were winning that puck. So Richie was gonna eat it if he had to. We were gonna win that thing though. But yeah, it was so much fun, and we just, go out and just muck it up in the ozone and try to bury a few. And that was a great line. And we'd all sit next to each other on the plane ride home and, have a few beers and tell some stories. So it was great.
That's hockey.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and Lou, after Obes, then we've talked about because it was our 10th year in the league for our full pension. That's why it kind of came up, and it was pretty funny for us.
It's like these boys all got a pension coming their way, 100%.
So we did that. We had the game in LA, and I did an interview in the morning, and I brought it up in the interview. And after that game, I think we do we win that game or lose it? And we never played together again. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Daryl likes how Daryl is.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was we were told
That was in LA.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I think you guys won that game in LA. I think you guys won. I watched it, I think, because I was texting Stoley how soft the Kings were, and I go, the fucking pension line's doing whatever they want out here, Stoley, babe. There's no one's even pushing back to the pension line. Richardson was going the fucking net, stick fucking floor.
That's fantastic.
But let's get into this for a sec. 1,000 games, buddy. That's amazing. Let's talk about you. Kind of, I was watching, the countdown was on, and we were talking about it. And then you get hurt, and I'm oh fuck. And I knew it was your knee. I was talking to Stoley and Greener and texting with everyone to see how you're doing. But was that pretty scary? 999. I know you probably knew didn't know what it was at the time, but let's talk about that, your party, and just how everything was. I'm sorry I didn't get to be there, buddy. I had some family stuff, but I know your dad, Randy / Ralphie, what we call him, and your mom, Brady, and your wife Farah. So go ahead and touch me on that.
Yeah, just you kind of know it's game 999. Kara's planning all the parties and family's all flying in and stuff. And it was early in the game, and I just kind of went to hit Chuck, and his ass just kind of got me right in the knee in a bad way. And it was like I got up and I'm like, oh God, it's my knee. You can feel something's wrong. And I was like,
yeah.
You think the worst in your mind, and kind of go back in the room, and Doc looks at me and kind of just said it was MCL, not ACL, nothing like too serious, which was kind of a huge relief. But I had to text my wife right away and be like, hey, cancel flights. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening next game. So I felt bad for her, because she had made a lot of plans and set up a lot of reservations and flights for people, and we had hotels, and so I felt really bad for her. But my dad, luckily, he's retired. He's been out here for a month now, so he was loving it, just being out here, and he got to see all the games, and go to North End for a few. And but yeah, after coming back, and then kind of knew the next game was my 1,000, so it was easy to plan. And my wife did a great job. We rented out North End, and
obviously
rented out North End, and had a great night there, and everyone showed up, so it was pretty cool.
You got to love the North End. You boys back in the day there. We went up to a little music festival, My Morning Jacket, Louie, in Redondo Beach, and she got called off because of wind. We're like, where do we go, boys? I'm like, let's go to the North End. So we went over there, and I just remember the last time I'd been there previously, I walked in with Richie and Stoley and you probably, whoever, and Greener was working the door. He's like checking IDs. I'm like, you want a beer? He's like, nah, I'm going to work at the door today. I'm like, he's in the NHL. I'm like, where? He's like, yeah, I'm checking ID tonight with the boys. I'm like, this is a great spot.
Yeah, it's unreal. Greener used to live right across the street there, so there used to not be too many people in there, and we kind of took it over, and still a great spot, and been going there ever since.
Yeah, Louie, like Richie said, man, 1,000 games for you is unbelievable. I want to talk about one of your other Warrior teammates, Drew Doughty. He came back. Listen, if I was Drew, I would have taken the break off to probably heal up some more and work out and maybe practice on the side or whatever. And he's like, throw me in with the best players in the world and let's snap it around. I'm like, good on you, Drew. I mean, he's gotten better as the tournament goes on, but the guy's just a hockey player, like Richie said. Just to play 4 games or whatever and to get right in there, best on best. Like, what can you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. I mean, to be out as long as he was, and I don't think he cared for the off-ice workouts too much, being out that long. So, he's just a competitor. I think he loves to compete, and he loves to prove that he still got it. So, I think that was a huge goal of his, just to be able to get back and get a few games in to give himself a chance to go to the tournament. And they obviously took him. So it's great for him, and I think he's been having a lot of fun. I mean, I've been texting him here a little bit, and yeah, I mean, I've got to watch quite a bit, and he's getting better, and you can tell he's getting a lot more comfortable out there. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, he made that Drew Doughty pass to McDavid against the Americans on the breakout. It was just crispy, right?
And slow, baby.
McDavid just went, the guy went, Doughty waited, put it right on his tape, and I was like, that's old school. That's fucking crispy rice. But last one for me, Lou, I appreciate you taking the time. How good is this LA Kings team, fella? I watch you boys play a lot. Defensively, you guys are unbelievable. Darcy Kemper continues to prove me wrong this year. You guys get lots of chances. I'm sure you guys wish you could score a few more goals. That will come, I'm sure. But how good is this Kings team, Louis? And how excited are you for the last 25 games and getting into playoffs?
Yeah, we got a great team. I mean, talking about the tight knit teams, I think this team we're all pretty close, and I think we got a good mix of young and older guys, and it's fun to be a part of. I think everyone kind of plays the same way, and we're hard to play against. We try to be hard to play against, and we got some good young talent, and obviously with Kopi and Drew, great leadership, and it's just been a lot of fun to be a part of, and we're excited here for the playoff push, and to keep it going.
Nice, buddy. Yeah, I wish you guys all the best. They're fun to watch. You got that little bit of old school Kings kind of stingy defense, really good goaltending. It's fun to watch every night. And I do watch most of the games, so that's great. But I just want last one. I'm just more of a thought here. What's the score tonight and who wins? You can't go against Dewey, can you? I know you're American. Was that a big week?
I got it. Yeah, I got a few bets on the line today. So
do I.
Go for us. What's the score?
I got 4-2 US.
Yeah.
All right.
I got 3-1 Canada with an empty netter from 87 to seal it, little boys.
On 3-2 Canada.
4-2 empty net.
3-2 Canada.
If we get 2 by Hellebuck, that'll be fucking good. I don't know if we get 2, but that guy's bigger than the net. Louis, that guy's bigger than the net.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I was lucky enough to play with him in Winnipeg. He's unreal.
Yeah. Well, fella, you're unreal. Thank you for taking the time here, buddy. Continued success. Keep going. You're fun to watch. Stay healthy and go chase down another mug, fella.
All right. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me on.